Get those Cybermen out.
G'day guys, Sam from the Sidemen here. Today we have a best of one battle. It is Broly BR Swap taking on Garlic Jr. It's a very good battle. I just finished commentating it then, and such an exciting game. I really couldn't call who was going to win until the end. You automatically kind of expect Broly to win because it's a really strong deck, but Garlic Jr. is so defensive and really kind of good at getting a massive board. That it's really interesting to watch. So I hope you enjoy that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Cheers. Alrighty, so we have Red Broly Swap on the left here versus Garlic Jr. on the right. I apologize in advance for the kind of reflection you're going to have on the Red Broly player side. We didn't realize this while filming, but this whole night of locals was under an annoying light where half of the field you couldn't really see very well. So I will try to explain what all these cards are. So the Red Broly BR leader is what you see there in brilliant white. So he has a once per turn, look through your deck for a red extra card, once per game, sorry. Activate main and add it to your hand. Usually you use that to grab Planet Vamper. When he attacks, if you have a Broly BR in play, he gains critical. The Garlic Jr. player has played Machio Star, which allows you to look at the top 5 for a Demon Clan, and then at the end of your turn, each turn, play a Demon Clan card with its skills negated for the turn. It's important to distinguish that happens at the end of your turn, so as soon as your turn is over, those skills come back. So it means you can play the blocker, Demon Clans and things like that, and they are still blocker on your opponent's turn. It's just to stop on-play autos pretty much from happening, just to make it less free, which is a good thing because there are some cards that just keep going. The Broly player has swapped, play Planet Vamper and then played the bar, which lets you search for a card that you need. Very good to play for free pretty much. Just by taking a life, it lets you look through your whole deck for a card and add to your hand. So he did that to grab the 3-drop Broly. So his leader isn't crit here, but he still looks like he's going to attack. Yep, passing turn to Garlic Jr. Garlic Jr. charging the cooler counter. It's cool tech. I haven't seen anybody run that in this deck. Garlic Jr. attacking and drawing a card. Bar is a blocker as well, so he can decide if he wants to block here. I believe this Broly BR player does not have the $80 promos or whatever they are. So we're not going to see any of those shenanigans. So he didn't block. He took the life. Tapping 1 for Bulma's skill. Looking for a Demon Clan, I believe, to add to hand. Add to hand or play? I think add to hand. Oh, looking for the Unison. Very nice. So that's a 3-cost Unison. It's the SPR version. He'll probably then use Overlord, I'd say, yep, to draw a card. Tapping 1 to play this guy. So these guys have autos where when you activate Overlord, you can tap 1 to play them. And they are also Demon Clans, but they're not 7, so they can restand. And it lets you play a Demon Clan in rest mode, another one that can restand, which is good. So with Garlic Jr., you awaken when you get a unison out, or when you, I think when you have 4 life, end of turn he's playing the blocker, and then the blocker Roshi gets its blocker skill back. I think it's a blocker, can't recall, maybe not. Blocker is the Yamcha, I think. So anyway, he's getting another servant on field for Overlord next turn, getting another Demon Clan on field. When you have 4 Demon Clans on field, you can use your negate for free, which is a Nimbus, but you don't have to drop a card, and it's a free Nimbus, which is pretty damn good. So he's playing the Paragus here, and then Paragus lets you, I believe, look at the top something or other, maybe 5. And Broly can now awaken as well. He hasn't got any of the Broly chain out, which is unusual. Probably. I'm assuming he'll start playing stuff now. He's looking for a Broly BR here. Grabbing the 5-drop. Tapping 1 for the 1-drop Broly. So that Broly, sometimes you want to attack with your leader when you've got this guy out. If you have a bar out, he gains plus 11k, so it's a 15k beater, I think, or something. Maybe he's a 9k, 10k beater, can't recall. Okay, so changed his mind, he decided not to swap. He's looking for a battle card. I think he was like annoyed that that 1-drop was there. But anyway, he got the Raditz super combo, which is excellent. Grab that. I am kind of unsure. They're having a chat about something. So here's the swap. Swap gives a marker to the Unison. Now he's awakening, untapping 2. Very strong. Swinging into the Demon Clan member, one of the Elite 4. Decisions here. I think he's just gone in with 15. Because that Broly's a 5k, but he has Servant, so he's a 15k. Interesting in this deck, you know, that Paragus on the field has Overlord, but you don't really want to be using Servant with your Broly pieces because you want to swap with them. That was an interesting play, protecting the Demon Clan and also tapping down the leader so he doesn't get his draw or crit into leader. That Broly's awakened though, I don't recall. I don't think he draws front on attack on awaken, but I can't remember exactly. So we got a 4 cost here. He's putting the negate, that's the negate I was talking about, in the warp, which is the perfect thing. That's what you want to be putting in your warp if you don't need it that turn, is negates, because you get them back at the end of your next turn, so you're ready to defend yourself then. So he's thinking about whether to go into the 5-drop, which he is. Then you can't go into the 6-drop this turn. Even though he doesn't have energy, he wouldn't be able to. But you can't go into the 6-drop this turn because the 5-drop swap skill has the clause that you need at least 3 energy, or your opponent needs... Sorry, you need at least 4, or your opponent needs 3 energy. That's why, out of all... like, it's one of the decks, this Broly deck, that you kind of want to go second. Because now that means... You can see the Garlic Jr. player has charged here. He's on 3 energy. That means the Broly player can go into the 6-drop next turn. If the Broly player went first, he wouldn't be able to go into the 6-drop that turn. There's a lot of thinking going on here. I have a feeling they might be asking a ruling. I do remember that this game asked me a ruling at one point during the night. Garlic Jr. attacking. Roshi attacking, then he'll probably servant that Roshi. Comboing out. Tapping 3 for the unison. Interesting. Attacking because he can awaken here. That was weird. Comboing out. Plussing on the unison, and then Overlord. Draw 1. Ending turn is choosing not to play a Demon Clan. Mustn't have one in hand that's worth playing, I guess. Attacking with leader. So he does a draw. Sorry, that's my bad. That's critical there. Ooh, hitting one of those negates. Tapping 1 for Broly. No response here. Swapping for the 3 drop. It's important. I should point out that interesting awakening on your opponent's turn for some reason. I should point out with swap that you need to play the card down before you pick the other card up. These guys aren't doing that, so he's picking the card up before he's playing the card. And I think the way swap works is you announce you're going to use the swap skill, you wait for your opponent to respond. If they don't respond, you play the swap card and then pick up the card you activated swap on. That order's important because if you pick up the card first, technically you are choosing not to play a battle card. And your swap skill resolves when you pick that card up. That being said, no one's going to call you out on that. I mean, these guys do it. Like, I wouldn't call that. I wouldn't shuck someone like that. I would just let it go through. He blocked with the unison. Yeah, I mean, most people will be fine with you doing swap in that way, but just in case, you don't want to get rule sharked, especially if it's an important tournament. At locals, no one's going to be doing that, but you never know. That swap, actually, you play the battle card before you pick the other one up. You can choose not to play one if your opponent counterplays, but then you pick the card up afterwards. So if you pick the card up first, you're technically not playing a battle card. So, Broly player just taking the long game, I think. Trying to get rid of the hand slowly. The problem with Broly is they get their hand back, so unless you can do it all in one turn, you're kind of going back to the beginning. As you can see, he keeps putting his negate there because he knows that he can just get that back for negating if he needs. The hand is pretty small from the Garlic Jr. player though, so it's working. Attacking what you can only assume is leader. Comboing the Paragus. Tapping 3 for the 3-drop. So this guy's so cool. When he comes in, your leader doesn't take damage from double strike, triple strike, things like that. And I feel like if that was a card that didn't need to have a Garlic Jr. leader, or a Yellow Demon Clan, can't remember what the exact wording is, then it would be so strong. I'd play it in Sin Shenron, you play it in a lot of control decks. Just being able to, it kind of stops big hits for the turn, your opponent can't champer you, things like that. So here's the Roshi. Big boy Garlic playing the Roshi from the bottom of the deck. Then he can put it back after it attacks if he decides to do so. Violent Rays, there you go. So that stops any battle cards with 20,000 or more from attacking if you choose, or you can choose Unisons, but I think he chooses battle cards. Very strong card. I really like it. It's pretty expensive because of how strong it is. It's kind of like a cheaper Topo. Obviously it doesn't stop all attacks, but it stops most big hitters, and your opponent can't choose to discard cards or whatever to go for game, which is nice. So he can still attack with the leader. He can't attack with Roshi because that's Servant. It's actually a 20k. You can attack with the Unison. Thinking about whether to combo out of this. He's taking it, plussing a marker. So he restands at the end of the turn, taking his cards back, and with Makio Star he will play a blocker. So that's the blocker Yamcha. It's played with its skills negated for the turn, but then the turn ends and it regains its skills. So he's got a blocker on board. Interesting he didn't use Overlord on that Servant. Roshi makes sense. I mean, he didn't get to attack with it, so probably wait until next turn. Well, that's what he's hoping anyway. Doesn't have 3 Demon Clans on board, but he can use his leader skill to play a Demon Clan from hand, which will put him at 4 Demon Clans, sorry. And then he can use the negate for free, which is probably what he's trying to do. And then he's blocking with the... There we go, so playing that in rest mode. That means the next attack after the blocked attack will be negated, I'd say, with... I can't remember what it's called, it's like energy something. That stops, means you can only attack once more with battle cards. Once more for the turn, or once more with battle cards for the turn. Similar to Nimbus. Swapping. He's trying to get his hand down before he can do that. Almost at 7 markers for... That looks like 6 markers, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know what he... I can't remember the permanent on that card. But... if you have 2 cards in rest mode, something happens. 2 battle cards in rest mode. Okay, So this is where he's going to use that negate. Bang. It's funny, no one plays Garlic Jr. really, so no one knows what it does. So he only gets one more attack now. Very good defensive deck, and this player is playing it really well. As you can see, tapping 1 for swap, so he's just going to try and get rid of his hand a bit. 7 markers, so he can use... Oh no, didn't he already give it a marker this turn for swap? Oh no, that's right. Sorry. Ignore me. The auto on the Broly gives it a marker. This is where his last attack, which is double strike. He might want to get rid of the unison maybe. Yeah, so he can't do double strike on leader. He can't do any damage with that attack. So he might as well hit the unison and get rid of it if possible. Getting rid of one of the demon clans. The Roshi Servant. You kind of want to keep those on board because next turn that's draw 2, draw 1 for each Roshi because he's got 2 overlords on board, including the leader, of course. Apologise, the leader is out of frame there. There it is. Topo. Very nice. I was almost expecting to see a cooler counter there. Overlord. Play it back again. Draw a card. Such value. It's just annoying that he can't attack with it. Both players playing very defensively here. Overlord again, maybe? Yeah, Overlord again, drawing a card. Tapping 1 for Overlord. Keeps him in rest mode, I believe. Topo. Topo really shutting down the turn. He's got a lot of attacks, but not the biggest hand, so he can't go for game really here. Probably player has 3 life. Garlic Jr. decks tend to just be lots and lots of hitters. He might run Supreme Kai, but there aren't usually any double strikes and big triple strikes and stuff, other than your big Garlic Jr., which is just a critical, I believe. And a turn, playing the blocker. So he's got 3 blockers on board. Pretty good chance of surviving, depending on what the Broly player has up his sleeve. 3 blockers and also the unison blocker, so 4 blockers. And he probably has another negate in hand, but we're not 100% sure. Nothing in the warp. Keeping the 6-drop in rest mode is very good because you can only have one on the field. It's unique. So it really kind of stuffs him up. You can't use that attack unless you can, get rid of it in some fashion. I don't think you can in this deck. There's not much you can do. So there's the negate there. Can attack one more time. Looking at the way it stands, I feel like Broly BR is in a really bad place. I don't think there's much you can do to survive. Look at the board is very strong from the Gully Junior player. He's got, 3 20Ks with the Yamcha, a 15K with that Demon Clan, 30K with the Garlic Junior. He's got the 20K Unison. He's got his leader, and then the Unison can restand the Garlic Junior if he stays on 3 markers. And with Overlord, he can draw 2 from the Yamchas, 1 for each Garlic on the field, and then with the big Garlic, he can play one of the Yamchas again. That's another 20K. I just feel like there really isn't much he can do to survive. If he was able to get the SCR out, he might have better chance. Just trying to get rid of his hand a bit. So he does still have one more attack, I believe. So he's asking what does the minus do. He restands a Demon Clan, but you obviously want to use it to restand your big 30K critical. So he attacked later and then he blocked with Baby, which means he isn't able to do the minus. I think it's -3. It could be -2, it could be wrong, but I think it's -3. Super comboing to make sure it does that damage, and then passing turn. I feel like you'd just block with one of the Yamchas, but I guess he wants those to make sure they stay on the field. He's got Overwhelm in his deck, I know. I feel like he's going to play Fu. I don't know if he has that Fu in there. But if he has that Fu in there, it should be game for sure. Like, there's no counterplays that can deal with Fu. Violent Rays. Oof. He obviously didn't have Fu, otherwise he wouldn't have done that. That would have been terrible to do. Roshi. So he can only attack with pretty much that one Demon Clan card if he wants to do that. That one there, yep. He obviously didn't have the Fu in hand, because that would have been so good if he just slammed the food down there. Both players having some really good defensive plays here. Look at that board from the Gully Junior play. He's pretty much saying, you need to kill me or you're dead. Bulma. 15k. He'll probably overlord the Bulma as well. He hasn't done any overlord this turn. Overloading the Roshi. Attacking with the Unison. Tapping 2. It feels like it's on replay. He just keeps going 2, no, 2, no. Is he tapping 2 for another one? Gasu or whatever he's called. Just wants to get in another 15k attack. And passing turn. Just building his board up because I guess he couldn't use his energy for anything else. But that board is just deadly, isn't it? Like 3 markers, yeah. As the Broly player, you know that as long as you can keep using Violent Rays, keep using Toppos, you can survive for a little while at least. And he does look like he might have another Violent Rays in hand, which is crazy. But at some point, that board is going to overwhelm you, and he's still got heaps of life left. Attacking leader. 15k crit. Ooh, comboing the Broly. Interesting. 20k crit. He wants to get rid of, play another Broly, obviously. I'll be impressed if Broly wins. I didn't think that Broly was going to win here, but this is a good... Ooh, he did have Fu Shrouded. Unless he got it. I don't know, I feel like he really should have played Fu Shrouded last turn. It would have been game. He might not have had enough battle cards in the drop. That's possible. Oh, enough cards in the drop for overall. So, blocking with the Unison. I don't know why you don't just use your servant blockers, seriously. But that, grabbing Fu Shrouded out of hand is insane. Like, that has pretty much saved his life, potentially next turn. He's got another super combo in hand. Blocking and playing another servant card. -7 to bring the leader down 15k. Hold on, he can't play that for free because he's only on 1 marker. Oh, game. There you go. So Broly player 1 here. That was awesome. Such a good game to see. I don't know. I guess that the Gallic Junior player didn't have the 10 in drop needed for Overwhelm. Otherwise, that definitely would have been game for him last turn. But that was such a good game to watch. Kind of didn't know which way it was going to go. I thought that Gallic Junior was going to take it, but he didn't. He had so much life, but I guess no cards in hand and lots of crit. He knew what was going to happen. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like and subscribe to keep up to date on all the Dragon Ball Super content. We want to thank Grand J Games for all their support and remind you to use the code CyberMan5 at grandjgames.com for 5% off all your singles needs. Cheers.